What's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of Don't Get Cancer, where cancer is more than a bumper sticker, more than a hashtag, and we bring each other together through pain and loss. So, today's topic, this is going to be a very specific episode. We're going to get into, we're going to call it Who's Real and Who Isn't. Now I know what you're thinking. I know who my people are. I know who's real. I know who's not gonna be around. I know who is gonna be around. I'm here to tell you that your perspective in your world might just get shooken up a little bit, but it might not just go that way. And maybe it does. Maybe you're exactly right. I thought I was gonna be exactly right, but wow, learning experience for sure. It's so I'll start with when my pops found out that he had cancer. He didn't want people to know about it, really. Honestly ridiculous looking back, but that's a different topic for a different episode. So there was this ridiculous secretness of the whole thing that was also stressful. So, and I'm not really, my social media I don't really go into my feelings on social media. I portray, the happy stuff on social media, not I just, because honestly, usually people don't care. They're there to watch the train wreck, and I'm not gonna give you a free show of my dirty laundry and such. So I usually keep it pretty locked down on socials. So I told a few people. I think my brother told a few people close to him. Obviously, my mom told a few people close to her. My pops, honestly, I don't know who he told or I really don't. So everybody at first, was cool. Oh, I'm here if you need anything, right? Classic. And nothing really was settling in yet. It was still a whirlwind of, yo, this is crazy. This is happening to me. The dust hadn't settled. It was just, everything was just, again, whirlwind. So trying to navigate everything, and so my boy and my best friend, and really my brother, and I mean that, and I don't use that term lightly. In my younger days I did, but now I don't. My brother E, not my biological brother J, but my non-biological brother E, he taught me, it actually helped me deal with it, and it's a good life lesson for any situation. There's tiers of people in your life. You have to separate people into tiers, because if you don't, you will go crazy. You'll lose your mind. You'll go insane trying to, if you're a super loyal person and ride or die with your people, and that's just your nature, if you expect that from pretty much anybody that you're kicking it with, you'll go crazy. You'll really go crazy, because you're gonna get burned every time. and that's just something you can't do. So for your own sanity, you gotta hit the tier system. Tier 1, that's who, like, people you would literally trust your whole life with. Your whole life. However you want to chalk that up. Financially, emotionally, morally, your whole damn life, you would not even think twice about trusting them. So that tier 1 should be pretty small. I don't know. Maybe you got a tier 1s. I'd love to see it. Tier 2, I would say business hours. Friday, you can trust them with your life. They're not gonna be there after hours on weekends, but they're solid, but not quite 100%. And then tier 3, it's probably like the work from home, 3 days a week type crowd. They're showing up to work like hungover, but they're there, they're getting stuff done. But yeah, whatever. They're not quite. They're not your exact go-tos. And tier 4, I would just say, is like drinking buddies. Yeah, you go to the bar, they're there, you drink, talk about a bunch of, weightless stuff. Always talk about doing this, doing that, but you're never gonna actually do it. So when this all hit, I had a pretty good idea of the tiered system. And that tiered system was just absolute key to my survival. I was still a little burned, because even with, and that's what I'm telling you, even with the tiered system, you're still gonna get shockers, good and bad. You're gonna be pleasantly surprised on some things and brokenhearted on other situations. So I guess like one of the biggest things to me was, it was my 30th birthday. This was March 8th, 2000. What was it? So it would have been 2022. And I love LA. I love the Hollywood Hills. And at this point, starting to see the writing on the wall. Like, Pops don't look like a zombie yet, but he's not looking well. And I'm visiting my parents every day, almost every day, as much as I can, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And I'm watching my once super healthy 4 months ago 61-year-old Pops, who looked like he was in his mid-40s, laying on the couch, dying of cancer, man. Stage 4 cancer, just laying there, man. And I'm thinking, man, if that ends up being me, I'm about to turn 30. I'm halfway there. So for my 30th birthday, I had a really close, I wouldn't even say friend group. I thought it was like a family group. And at the time, I have a really good job, but I had done really, really well in the crypto space. I know everybody says that. I'm not gonna get into it, numbers and all that, but I did really well. I had money to just literally burn, but I had worked my way up to doing certain things, and I had the means now. Like one of my like, people that I considered my brother, I'm not gonna say names. I had talked about this since damn near the day we met. I'm gonna, Lamborghinis for everybody, Hollywood Hills, da da da. Like, yeah, I was talking about owning it, but I'm not quite there yet. But I had the means to put us all out there for, a week. Let's live the life, man. Let's follow our dreams. Let's live our dreams. And I learned early, like, I don't know, a couple of times, days when I went on vacations to great places, if you're not surrounded by great people, man, I'd rather be in the driveway with great people than be in a great place with subpar people. I don't want to operate like that. So again, I have the means. I told my people, come as you are, man. If you can afford $1, pay $1. If you can afford $100, pay $100. You can afford 3 bands, pay 3 bands. I'm not talking like, you're gonna owe me, pay me back, nothing. Like, I want all my people who are driving Lamborghinis for a week, who are living in the Hollywood Hills. My pops is dying of cancer. I want to live my life. I want to live our lives. Never know when this little simulation of this space rock floating around the sun is gonna end. It could end tonight. It could end tomorrow. What are we left with? Let's do it right now. Long story short, I know it's getting long already, but I don't know. The whole group, man, they started getting crazy talking about, drinks in Vegas average like $3 cheaper and blah, 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 blah. And just, oh my God, man, it started unraveling. And I'm like, you people are supposed to be my, like, I'm not playing like my pops has cancer card, but in my head, I'm thinking that, like, what are we doing here, man? Like, I'm coming with love. I'm coming, literally, I'm trying to put us all out there. I've talked about this for years. Let's do this. Let's do this. It was like 4 or 5 of my closest brothers. And all folded over some small things. But not E. E was there. Tier 1 E. So that was a shocker. And we worked things out. That's been a little bit. We worked things out over that, so I'm not gonna say names. But that was hurtful, man. And I didn't jump right into it like, yo guys, my dad has cancer. Like, what are you doing? It was just like, really? Like, I'm watching this unfold. It's my birthday. I'm literally funding this. Like, guys, let's go. Let's live our dreams. So that's a shocker. Be ready. Life is gonna throw some crazy things at you. Whether you're dealing with cancer or not, life can throw crazy things at you. Yeah. And there's a lot of wild things. And I remember, like, the biggest thing, like, early on, just hit me up if you need to talk, blah blah. Once it got like worse, I would say then, like, when my pops died, I try to take a few people who I thought was not tier 1 but tier 2. I try to take them up on that offer of, hey, just hit me up anytime you need to talk. And I've never asked anybody for a thing. I just wanted to talk. Nothing. Didn't respond. They said, anytime you need to talk, just hit me up. I texted them. Known them for 25 years. I'm 31 and a half. No response. Then in the same light, people I've met once, twice, 3 times, via social media. Not meeting them via social media, but meeting them in person, but them reaching out via social media. We had some really enlightening conversations. Again, I'm not gonna say names, but that was awesome. Really cool. A really cool aspect of social media. Usually it's pretty toxic. It's pretty, BS. Everybody's just trying to one-up each other and such. We're all guilty of it. But that was really cool. The fact that it keeps you in touch with people you've met once or twice. You may, back in the 80s, you'd never see them again. But now it's 2023. You're able to have sometimes enlightening conversations. And, there was people from my past that came out, and I also had meaningful conversations with that I expected it. People who I thought I wasn't really on great terms with, and here we are talking. And because one person in particular, their mom had gotten breast cancer, beat it. Some great, love to hear it. But we had started talking, and I had figured that we weren't beefing, but I just figured we weren't really on great terms, but that we kind of had a bond over that, and that's awesome. That was cool, and I really appreciate that. And it's little things like that you come to appreciate, because at the end of the day, some of these people out here, right, that I've known for a decade, 2 decades, the communication is so bad. Literally have had better communication and kept communication. Friends that have gone to prison for multiple years, that are in prison at this moment for multiple years, and I'm having better conversation with them than these supposed people that I'm supposed to be close with. Life is funny, man. Life is weird. And yeah, so on that tiered system, my mom had a real big problem with that. Like, my pops was out at the bar. He was well liked, but it was like bar friends. Most of us know. I try to explain to her, I'm like, yo, bar friends are just like, again, tier 4 drinking buddies. You drink, you talk about dumb things you're never gonna follow through on. And he had a lot of tier 4 friends. So when things finally hit the fan, and who stepped up, who didn't, who sent cards, who sent, I don't know, a fruit platter, and I'm not saying you need to do monetary things. It's literally the thought, like handwritten card, whatever, it's the thought. You're putting the thought out there. Who did that? None of these so-called people that he spoke so highly of did anything, because they were just friends. They were drinking, just ridiculous, and she didn't understand that, and she was heartbroken over that. But I was trying to tell her the whole time, they're not gonna do anything. Most of his people was tier 4 drinking buddies, and that hurt because she didn't understand it. She still has a tough time grasping that. she's kind of like stuck in the 1980s ways of, I don't know, like bonds were tighter in the 80s or something. I don't know. Nobody had phones. Nobody had social media. You know, if you talked to somebody on the regular, like, you were actually tight. But yeah, man, little things go a long way. And I think one of the coolest little things was Andy Gary. Known him and his whole family, JDG, his little brother, like, grew up with them. South Portland, you know the Gary family. His mom, super cool, makes great sweets. This is not a plug. But yeah, Andy, it had been like a few, I don't even know, it might have been like a day or two after my pops died. And Andy, I can't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, because Andy works out in the same gym that my pops had, that I work out in. And yeah, he had sent his condolences, and I was like, you know, man, I was like, we gotta hit some bicep curls for Pop. And he was like, yeah. And honestly, I think it was like within the first 2 or 3 days that my pops had died. I mean, I'll be real, the day, like, so he died on a Monday, I was in the gym Tuesday morning. This is how I cope. But I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, I was doing pull-ups, and Andy came up to me across from the gym doing bicep curls, and that was cool. It sounds dumb. It sounds really dumb, but that meant a lot. Man, that meant a lot. It's crazy. It's crazy when you go through this battle. Wow. And yeah, Andy came up. We broke some gym rules. We're doing bicep curls under the pull-up rack, and I had to really hold it in, man, not to lose it emotionally at that moment. And then he passed me the weight. I did my curls, and yeah, I knew, you know, my pops wasn't like a juice head or like a super gym head or anything, but he taught me a lot about working out, and that was cool. So to sum it all up, if you guys are still here, thank you for listening to me. You're gonna be shocked, surprised, pleasantly, and deplorably. It's gonna go both ways. I can't tell you who isn't. Life is crazy. This simulation is crazy. And here we are. But if you've made it this far, genuinely, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We're gonna keep doing this. Don't get cancer. We out.